Hello mamas, and welcome back to For Moms.
Hello.
Hey, today is episode 3 and we're so excited to be chatting it up with y'all.
So we didn't want to let this month pass by without acknowledging Black History Month. For this mom chat, we want to discuss what it means to us to be raising Black kids in America. We all married to Black men and we're raising children of color. And for us and for many people of color out there, it can mean a lot of different things. So what does it mean for you ladies to be raising Black children in America?
For me, raising Black children, I'm raising a young Black woman and I'm raising a young Black boy. And I feel like the most important thing for me to do as a parent is to instill in my kids and to raise my children to be strong and to be confident and to be proud of who they are, where they came from, the color of their skin, the texture of their hair. And I don't want them to ever feel like they're any less smart or any less beautiful or any less capable than anybody else. And I want them to know how God sees them and how we see them. And I don't want the color of their skin to define them. And one day, they will learn their history and they're gonna face the sad reality of the world that we live in today. And I just think that the hardest part for me is, I'm not Black, and there's things that I probably will never understand that my children are gonna go through. And as that's probably a challenge that I'm gonna face, I'm gonna have to be very alert and aware and sensitive to my children's feelings. So those are things that I'm willing and very honored to raise my beautiful Black children. And I'm actually very proud to be a mother of Black children. And I feel like this is the time, the whole Black Panther movie came out. It's the time to be proud to be Black, and it should be all the time. It shouldn't just be this month, It should always be proud and let your children feel proud to be Black.
Yes,
exactly.
Yes. Len, I really agree with everything you just said. For me, I would say that I go back and forth from being, why every time I just open my mouth to talk, I get emotional.
Yeah, it is an emotional subject.
Dang it.
Is it touchy?
Okay, I go back and forth between wanting to balance out, making sure that I'm empowering Jackson as a Black boy, as a Black man, and also I go back and forth with just feeling angry and trying not to let him see my anger and trying not to let him see my disgust. I want there to be a balance of him being fully aware of what's going on in the world and being fully aware of how Black boys, how Black men are seen and how they're portrayed. But I want him to be aware, but I also don't want him to be fearful. Or
you took the words right out my mouth.
I don't want him to be overly cautious. And this is a conversation I was actually thinking I wanted to have with my mom, because growing up I was aware that there was racism, but somehow, and I knew that white people looked down on us, people looked down on us, they didn't want to get to know me because I knew those things. But somehow she instilled something in me that didn't shake me. I'm strong. You guys know I have a strong personality. I'm strong in who I am. You're not going to tell me anything because of the color of my skin. I may be annoyed. I may have to pray that I don't punch you in the face. But you're not going to take me, to that level. And I really struggle with that because, as you were saying, with you not knowing how to relate to Lena in that way, I feel like I can't relate to Jackson's experience as a Black boy. And it's unfortunate that even driving, you see Black boys just walking down the street and getting thrown up against the gate. And it's like, what do you tell your kids? Because it kind of feels like at this point, you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. People put their hands up or reach for the ID because they ask them to, they get shot. They don't comply, they get shot. So it's kind of like, but I will say I'm hopeful. Although Wakanda, although it wasn't it's a superhero movie, for me it was such a glimpse for change. Whole Black cast, superheroes that my son could look at and say, I look like that, I could be a superhero too. Seeing Black people not broken in broken relationships and getting beat, but as queens and kings and sitting on thrones and wealthy and smart and creating things I really want to make sure that he has that history. I want him to know about all the Black people who created amazing things and traveled into space. I want him to know about those people so that he knows you know, it's one thing to tell someone you could do something, but it's another thing to show them that people in the past did it, and that gives them like hope that they could do it too. So like I'm not gonna ramble on. That's what I'm saying.
No, we could all ramble.
No, I know.
Yeah, but yeah, that's my take on it.
And I agree with Joe. I agree with Len. I think for me, when it comes to raising a black kid in America, it's like I want him to know the truth, because there's a hard truth out there, and it hurts, and it's not fair, and this life is not fair. He needs to know that. And I'm gonna be as honest with him. You know, me and his dad are gonna be as honest with him. But it's like, how do you tell your kid that before they were even born or created, they're at a disadvantage because a certain part of their identity that they have no control over? And it's like, how do you raise them to know that, to know these truths, but not be fearful and not let it define them? But you are able to do anything that you put your mind to, regardless of what color you are, regardless of, you know, how your peers see you. You know, it doesn't make you any less. And I think that's gonna be the hardest part for me, is even having to have that conversation, you know, with my kids. You know, like, I don't want to have that conversation with them, but I do want, you know, I want them to be woke. I want them to know the truth. And this is where I think that faith really comes in, and this is where I think that you have to have Godfidence, because if you don't have God, you will let all these other things define you. And I want my kids to know that their color is just such a small fragment of who they are. And black is beautiful, brown is beautiful, you know. All things are possible through Christ the King, because I really feel like once you know that that's who you are in God,
and how God sees
and
you.
Yes, and exactly, and how God sees you, you know, how he spent his time making you exactly who you are in the perfect image, that nothing matters. You could be blue, you could be green, you know, you could be bald, you could have a head full of hair.
Right, because you have your true identity.
You have
you
your
know,
true
it's found in
identity,
him.
exactly. So
So it's perfect.
that's my take on it.
Yeah, that's really good.
So don't forget to comment on our Instagram under our mom chat photo and let us know what you think and how you feel about this topic.
So heading into, I think this is Joe's favorite segment.
Yes.
Mama Loves.
Hey.
So my Mama Loves is this book. It's a children's book, as you guys can see.
So cute. I love it.
I'm not gonna butcher the language, guys, but this is actually a Haitian Creole book. My kids are Haitian, so I want to keep them in their roots and their culture, and I definitely do not want my children to lose the language. Like, I lost my Spanish language because my mom did not speak Spanish to me. And I tell my husband, speak Creole to your kids. I had my husband read it, and I recorded him, and he translated it, so now I can just play it back for the kids even when he's not around. And yeah, it's really a cute book. It's called Love Is. L'amour c'est. I think I said that right.
Yeah.
I'm getting there. I'm gonna learn Creole too, guys.
I was gonna say you should learn.
Yeah, I definitely want to learn.
But Jeffrey and the kids be talking about
I tell
it.
it. What your daddy said. It's so true. But yes, love this book. It's beautiful.
And for my Mama Loves, it's also a book. It's actually a 1-year devotional for married couples, and it's called Love Talk. It's by Dr. Les and Leslie Parrott. I think it's so cute that their names are Les and Leslie.
Hashtag goals.
For real, they both doctors too. Okay now.
Okay.
And they wrote a book.
Ain't they Christian?
So this is a really good devotional, I think. This one is for married couples, but there's other devotionals out there, and I actually suggest that if you're engaged or thinking about getting married or married, you should really look into getting a devotional for you and your spouse to read together. I like this because there's some days where, you know, just those days you just don't want to address anything, and then we open this book and we're reading, and it's literally like telling us exactly what we're going through. So we're like forced, it's scary
to talk about
and
it.
we're forced to talk about it.
That's
And
cool.
you know, or sometimes it speaks to me or it speaks to him. I like when it speaks to him more.
I would too.
But it's a really good devotional. So if you're looking for one for you and your husband, I really think you should consider this one.
For my mama loves, I have these amazing facials.
Ooh.
Yes, guys.
I love me the facial.
Oh, me too. I put Jackson to bed at 8. I put Mark to bed at 9. And then I love to throw one of these on. I usually buy them at Marshall's. This was only $4.99.
Nice.
Yeah, so if you guys are ever looking to just do something relaxing and something quick and simple, Marshall's always has these at a really great price.
Love that.
So that is it for Mama Loves. Don't forget to head down below and let us know what you guys are loving this week. We cannot wait to hear from you. So ladies, do you know what time it is?
Mom break. Regroup.
Yes. So today's mom break is all about self-care. Yes. They know.
No, yeah.
Y'all
big
probably
on
sick
this.
of me talking about self-care.
Self-care.
But I really feel like as moms, we put the world before ourselves and we come last. And that is a no-no. So what do you ladies like to do to practice self-care?
Okay, so for me, I think mental, like self, care.
Yeah, girl.
So
That's the main
you know, I'm trying to keep this mental straight.
Right, exactly.
So usually when Ethan's asleep and I have time for myself or whatever, I like to either read. I like to get into a good book because to me that's like it's just really therapeutic. And that's the one time where I'm literally not thinking about anything else. Like I can just read and
like get lost in
the world. So I like to do that. I also like to write my prayers. I think there's just something that it's also therapeutic for me, writing down my prayers. And I've always had trouble praying out loud. I always had trouble doing that. So for me, like when I write, it's like a lot more eloquent, or it's just I get to really divulge into it and really write down, the desires of my heart and really pay attention to detail. And I also like writing.
Yeah.
So those two things I would say for me, like when I don't get to do them, I feel like a little off. And I think physical self-care is also important too.
Right.
But for me, I find that I lean more towards like the mental aspect of it. So that's what I do.
What about you, girl?
So my self-care would be like me taking a shower alone because I always take a shower with my daughter. It's like a routine, but when I do get a chance to take a shower by myself, I condition my hair, I shave my legs, skin to mint. And just being in the shower, I have like the little speaker and I put my music. I have the speaker, so I put my music on and I just have a little jam session. In the shower by myself.
Yeah, that's cute. That's cute. cute. Get sassy. Oh, that is sassy. Okay, sorry. Okay. Mine would definitely have to be like how you were talking about feeding your mental. I have to feed my spiritual because me without Jesus is I'm funky. So I have to like make time to do my devotional. Yes. I have to make time to like do my devotional and make sure I just like pray that it's a good day, and I just need time for myself in the morning. I would say that's my self-care. Getting up before Jackson in the morning and just having my coffee, just having a moment of silence, praying for the day, and
recharging.
Yes, I need you girls. Recharging for the day. So that's how I take care of myself.
Love it. Cool beans. So let us know what you do for self-care. Comment below and let us know. We nosy. You know that already.
You know what time it is. What you want to know. Okay, so for my question is from our girl Jalissa Richardson. Hey girl.
Love you, girl.
And she basically wants to know how has the transition been for me from becoming a mom of 1 to becoming a mom of 2.
I want to know.
Me too.
It ain't easy, girls, but it's worth it. But definitely, especially that I have 2 under 2, it's been a little hard because sharing my attention with Lena, she was very jealous in the beginning, But knowing that, I had to prepare her while I was pregnant. So I was constantly always telling her, you're gonna have a baby brother. He's gonna be crying in the night, which is, she sleeps through the night. She sleeps through his crying. So thank God for that.
That's really good.
But anyways, yeah. So I had to prepare her for all those things and teach her like what it means to be a big sister. And when the baby did come, I poured out so much attention just for her because I knew she was gonna be like the jealous, and I didn't want her to start taking it out on the new baby, like being spiteful or like being like, I don't like him because he's taking mommy's attention.
Yeah.
And also preparing myself, I guess I was never really prepared until it happened. So no, I'm going through the motions right now. I'm still, every day's a learning experience.
Yeah.
But definitely can't complain about it, I guess. It's my babies and I love them.
Yeah, so sweet. So my question is from our girl Denise.
Hey.
And Denise wants to know what baby carrier is the best one out there to use. And I know Nina's on the same page with me.
Yes.
Baby Bajour. Okay, not Buongiorno. Because I've told people that before and they reminded me that that's pizza. But Baby Bajour. It's a great carrier. It's actually created, this model that we have was created for dads. So it's super sturdy. You could wear the child on front facing in infant mode, and then you unzip it and there's another zipper to put it in toddler mode. You can actually flip it and they're on your back. And what I love is I had a carrier, my first carrier held Jackson's legs like really wide in a U. And I didn't like that. It didn't seem comfortable, and he's way happier. He'll stay in this carrier longer because his legs are just hanging rather than being stretched. So I would definitely say Baby Bajour. It's a little pricey, but right, sis?
Yeah.
The material is amazing. It's just really well made to last until your baby's what?
3.
Like 3.
I think it's 3.
Yeah.
So this person, she wants to know, is it normal to feel guilty after miscarriage, and also is there hope? So the easy answer would be yes to both of those questions. Yes, it is normal to feel guilty, and yes, there is hope. After my miscarriage, I remember feeling extremely guilty. I felt like, you know, I'm a woman. This is something that I'm supposed to be able to do. Why isn't it happening? I wasn't able to, like, you know, carry my kids to full term, and you know, a lot of that weighed on me because I'm like, it's my fault. But in reality, it's not. It's not your fault. And it's important to feel those feelings and let them out, but don't dwell in it. And don't let that stop you, or, you know, and lose hope, because there is hope. I mean, I have a beautiful little boy who's going to be 2 years old. And I lost twins. And I was 5 months pregnant when I lost them. So there is a lot of guilt, and you're gonna have a lot of questions, and you're gonna, you know, carry that burden for a while. I'm not gonna say that it's easy, because it's not, but it's important that you know that it is not your fault. Something like that is not your fault. And one day you're gonna look back and you're gonna be holding your baby in your arms, and you're gonna say, you know, I'm glad that I, you know, stuck it out. I'm glad that I held on to my hope, and it wasn't my fault. So if you want to talk more about it, I know you wanted this to be, you wanted your name to be private, but I'll put my personal email on the bottom, and you can email me and we can talk, because I'm very candid about this subject, and I think that my experience is a testimony. And I do like to share it with other women who may be experiencing the same things. So please reach out to me.
She's the strongest person I know.
Stop it.
Wait, I need to get in the hug.
Thank you, Lee. So thank you guys for tuning in for our 3rd episode of For Moms. We're so happy. We appreciate all the love, and we hope you watch the next video.
Bye.
Bye.
Chatting that with y'all. You see the camera.
That was like
chatting that with y'all.
Texas. I want this one.
I don't think they include sharing.
Let's see. Let's take a look.
Let's see. No.